It's about time with Rashawn. It's about time boxing, aka Mr. Trill 100 Mil. Y'all already know my spill. Um, so every time I put up a video from here on out, it's going to be towards, just trying to bring awareness to suicide prevention. So this is, for all of the families who's lost somebody, who lost a loved one or a friend or family member to suicide. So just check in on your loved ones and make sure they're good. If you have not already subscribed to the channel and you're watching this video or any of my videos for the first time, please hit that subscribe button and don't forget to encourage others to subscribe to Rashawn's About Time Boxing. All right. So we gonna talk about Floyd Schofield, senior and junior, or Junior and Floyd Schofield the third, or Mama Schofield, or Mama Hofield, whatever they call him. Shout out to True Media podcast too, by the way. I had watched an interview that he did with Freeway Ricky Ross, but then I watched. Shout out to YSM too, and YSM TV and GHB TV. Greg Hackett, shout out to those guys too. Because I watch different interviews and different things, and some people actually give Floyd Schofield and his father a platform to come on there, and it seemed like they, like everybody they come in contact with, they fall out with. They was cool with Freeway Freeway Ricky Ross was actually funding their whole career at one point. Now you talking about Floyd Schofield, the fighter, the son. He's a young fighter, 22 years old, 18-0, 12 knockouts. Freeway Ricky Ross said that he had did a 2-year deal with them. And he said he wasn't getting no money out of it, nor was he looking for anything from it. He said, in fact, when he did the 2-year deal, he said he was actually advised against it. A lot of people told him, like, yo, man, you don't want to do no business with these guys. Like, you want to stay away from them. And once he did the deal, and then he started seeing how they started moving. They was moving, like real shady and sloppy, like. And then he said, he said he was putting up his own money too, flying them around the world, taking them to different places. He said when DAZN was putting them on, he was actually the reason why DAZN was putting them on. So Freeway Ricky Ross was investing his own money, getting them exposure, getting them put on, introducing them to different people, and basically trying to get them some gain so that they can, they can flourish, they can open up, like, what I mean? They can take their career to the next level. And he said after some time he started realizing that Floyd, the father, said he's a user. Like, like he'll pretend to be your best friend, he cool with you and all that, until he needs something from you. As long as he needs something from you, or it's a benefit in it for him and his son, or whatever the situation is, he good with you. But then as soon as he don't got a use for you, then it's just like, all right, we gonna cut you off. Now I've seen them do countless interviews where, the father was going around bad mouthing Tank. He was going around, Tank don't want to fight us. Oh, Shakur know what happened. Ask Shakur what happened in sparring. We sparred Shakur. Oh, we put hands all on Abdullah Mason. Devin Haney don't want no work. We gave Devin work too in the gym. Like all these people, all these fighters, who didn't even have them in their radar, all of a sudden was scared of him and was scared of his son. Well, not him, because You know, he's a mouthpiece, I guess, or so to speak, or whatever. But the question is like, how far do you really think Floyd Schofield Jr. or the third or whatever you want, the fighter is going to go with his father operating and moving around in the boxing world like this? Now I know he might be of that old time or old school mindset where you feel like you gotta use people and be shady in order to get to where you want to be. But if that type of reputation follows you in this sport of boxing, don't you think that would make people not want to do business with you if you have a reputation for being shady like that? Because now people are actually starting to wonder and question. They like, is Floyd Schofield, the father, is he a narcissistic sociopath? Because they say he display narcissistic and sociopathic like behavior. And I guess that's why he hate Bill Haney so bad. Even Freeway Rick Ross said he hate Bill Haney so bad that he wanted to be him. He wanted to be like him. But the difference is Devin is his own promoter. And Devin, when Devin make money, money actually goes to Devin. They said at one point, I don't know if it's like that now, but they said his father didn't even want him to have a cell phone. I guess that's because, he didn't want he wanted to be the only influence over his son, or wanted to have that much control over his son. They say he pulled guns or pulled a gun on his son, allegedly. And if I'm not mistaken, again, shout out to True Media Podcast, you know what I mean, and Coach Malachi, you know what I mean, and but he said he having some issues with them. And he said that the father, switched up on him too. After, he was cool with them. And I guess, let them get on his platform, to try to get his son, some more exposure. I mean, I've seen a few episodes when he was on a few, episodes of Mill City Boxing when he was on there even arguing with Greg Hackett. He was mad at Greg Hackett. Him and Greg Hackett was getting into it. And he telling Greg Hackett about his record, and Greg Hackett record ain't this, ain't that, but he a professional fighter. And Greg Hackett, even by his own admission, said, man, listen, my record was like that because I didn't take what I was doing serious. That's why. My record is like that, not because other fighters was actually good enough to beat me, because I wasn't taking what I was doing serious. I was the one slacking. But he said, but I'll beat you up. He said, hey, but I'll beat you up. And he talking about, you don't know nothing about me. I was in jail for lighting a nigga up. Some crap like that. Like, I don't know, like that was supposed to, I don't know, scare somebody or whatever. I don't know. But it's sad because I've seen Floyd Schofield, the son, I've seen him fight. And he has, he has good talent. He has a lot of potential. But I think it's fair to say, and I don't think I'm not the only one that feels this way. But if his father stays with him and keep operating the way he's operating, a lot of people is not going to want to do business with his son. And I guess that's why he talking about they love their promoters so much. They love Oscar. I mean, come on, everybody see Oscar as a whole D-head. He a whole clown. Everybody know what type of clown Oscar is. I mean, he trying to attack Shakur and talking about how Shakur Stevenson, trying to fight my 22-year-old prospect. Shakur, I can't believe you want to fight my 22-year-old prospect. Eddie Hearn, you're such a bad promoter. But you ain't say nothing about them going on their social media tour talking about how Tank's supposed to be scared of them. Tank going to retire because he don't want to fight us. We beat Devin up in sparring. We beat Shakur up in sparring. We put hands on that feet on Abdullah Mason. But no, you didn't say nothing about them going on their social media tour talking about all these fighters that's now I get it. Now I understand you want to, build your son's name up. You want to try to piggyback off of some of these other fighters with big names and talking about because they let you come in their camp and spar with them, but instead of being, gracious, you know what I mean, and learning from it. I'm sure you did. Your son learned something from it, but you wanna talk about, what you did to them. First, you give them their props. Because I saw y'all do the interviews with talking about, oh man, Shakur was a gentleman. Shakur this, like, oh man, oh Shakur he's just the best, man. We work with him, we learned a lot, blah, blah, blah. Then y'all turn around talking about Shakur know what we did to him in sparring. Shakur know what we did. Oh, Devin, yeah. Oh, we gave Devin work too. Devin ain't want no more work from us. Devin got out the ring and all that kind of stuff y'all saying. That's not how you're supposed to be moving and operating when A+ world class fighters, invite you into their camp, you know what I mean, to give you some game and let you work with them. Because by y'all own admission, Shakur hit your son with a body shot that had, he had to back off a little bit and had him thinking. And that's why Shakur, and when y'all was on, I can't remember what podcast y'all was on, but Shakur was on there with y'all. And Shakur said, look, stop capping. Y'all know what happened in boxing. Like what happened when I hit him with that body shot? Y'all doing all that talking like I'm here now, like stop capping. And y'all called Shakur out. So Shakur was supposed to fight somebody else, but he said if that fight didn't fall through, he was gonna keep his word and he's gonna fight y'all because y'all was the one telling everybody sign the contract. Y'all even win that Keyshawn Davis. And I know you can't. I know your son can't beat Keyshawn. Can't beat Keyshawn. Can't beat Shakur. Can't beat Tank. Can't beat Devin. And y'all gonna have a problem with Abdullah Mason if that fight was to happen. But yet every time somebody give y'all a platform, for you to try to promote your son in a positive way, and then you got your son on board with the shenanigans too now. And everybody's starting to notice that. Now, everybody already saw how you treat women. Everybody already know that. And everybody saw the video of what he did to the woman. And then you seen the arrow pointing to his son. His son was right there when he was abusing this woman or choked her out or whatever he did. And the son did nothing. And realistically, honestly speaking, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm telling y'all, I wouldn't be surprised if the son is probably just scared to get away from his dad. Like he really want to get away from his dad, but he just scared. Because you got to remember too, like, when they was on these podcasts, they always, they whole story, that they building themselves up on, aside from, disrespecting, fighters like Shakur and Tank and Devin and all them, they got this whole narrative they putting out there, like they was homeless and I don't know, they was homeless, sleeping, I don't know, like in cars or on the street or something like that. He a single father, the mother abandoned him, and all that. Freeway Rick Ross said, look, the mother is 110. She can call me right now and I'll try to do whatever I can for her. This is what Freeway Rick Ross said. And he said the mother was there for all the early fights and all that. So who knows what his father may have did to the mom to make her get away. He may possibly could have even threatened her or did something like that. To get nobody's heard her side of the story yet to see why she not around. He probably told her like, "Don't come around my son. You ain't got, you know what I mean? Like because he already want to spin this whole narrative like he the one that's doing all this stuff for his son. Like he's single-handedly catapulting his son into another stratosphere of boxing where he gonna be this global star. He building up the best fighter in the world. Like, boy, yeah. And I said, boy, Your son is far from being the best fighter in the world, and you know it. There's nothing wrong with having confidence. There's nothing wrong with being confident or having confidence in your son. I get it. But you are extremely emotionally attached. I mean, to the point where, you don't, of course, he not going, he free, I guess he figured he could use Freeway Ricky Ross. Freeway Rick Ross said, look, I wasn't even looking for no money, man. He was like, look, when y'all start rolling like that, just take me on the journey with y'all. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just trying, I'm trying to help y'all get on so I can, so we can ride this wave together. And they whole thing was, yeah, well, once, once we get this ship to sailing, we're gonna throw him overboard. So you got True Media Podcast, Freeway Rick Ross, and you got Shakur Stephen. A lot of people saying like, man, these people crazy. And I even like heard the stuff about the lies that they made up about Shakur, when they ducked him, when they were supposed to fight him. Like they said Shakur put a mole in their camp, he flattened their tires, he took the signature page out their passport, like all these different things that Shakur supposedly or allegedly did. And then they got to the point where it was like, oh, we was told that, because of legal issues, we can't talk about it no more. No, because y'all was lying the whole time. And I saw the little video, where his son looked like he was in the hospital with a breathing tube or something like that. Looked like he was hooked up to a ventilator or something like that he had in his mouth. Like, man, dude, like the stuff that people would do to try to, get some, to bring some attention to themselves. And by the way, I don't know, and y'all can let me know if I'm wrong. Drop the comments in the comment section below. The father strikes me as like one of those attention, like he has that attention seeking behavior. Like he's like in the what they call them attention seeking whores or something like that. Like he got that attention seeking behavior. And I hope he see this video. Maybe he'll see it, maybe he won't. If he do see it, hey. But I know one thing, you know, I don't know how long Oscar and Bernard is going to keep riding, and don't be surprised if they try to devise some type of plan or if they got some type of contract where they can X the father out completely and they just got complete control. And maybe that's why he talking about he love him so much because it might be some type of agreement like that where they can X him out at any time they want to. I don't know what type of contract they may have signed with Golden Boy or whatever. Maybe it is something in place where they can get rid of him and he can't do nothing. And they got complete control over everything. And that's probably why, he kissed up to them. We love our promoter. We love Oscar and Bernard. And listen, don't get me started on Bernard. Bernard helping y'all, that's a first, because Bernard don't care about nobody but Bernard. And anybody who know heads know exactly what I'm talking about. And yeah, I called him heads. If you from Philly and you go back and you know Bernard, that's his nickname. That's his nickname, heads. And everybody know, you know what I mean? Bernard don't care about nobody but Bernard. I used to train with his nephew. Me, Demetrius Hopkins, Derek Poole Ennis, Farad Quiet Storm Ennis, Anthony the Messenger Thompson, Jose Medina, Aaron Torres, Pretty Boy Coy Evans. Like we all used to train together. Kasim Uma. So I'm telling you, like, you know what I mean? Like Bernard don't care about nobody but Bernard. And the only reason why he don't we doing for y'all is because it's a benefit in him. That's why he over there swinging on Oscars, you know what I mean? Whatever he got, you know, fishnet, stocking, whatever. But that's why he doing what he doing with Oscar. It's about the money for him. And if Bernard think you gonna ask him for something, forget about it. Heard the man, you know what I mean? The man he don't even like to leave tips. I heard he, like some years back, he just like started like leaving tips or something like that. Larry Merchant and Jim Lampley used to clown him about it all the time. But the question is Floyd Schofield, the father, is he helping or hindering or even possibly slowly destroying his son's career by his antics, by everything that he's doing, by all of these people he rubbing the wrong way? Because they saying they didn't duck Shakur, but everybody know that was a duck. They didn't show up, and they, said I was out there in my drawers, they planted drugs in my car. You said they planted drugs in your car, and the only thing that saved you was the tow truck driver said that the car hasn't been driven in hours. Well, I don't know about that, but in any other scenario where it's drugs involved, I don't care if the car wasn't driven for days. They still gonna tow that car in, and they gonna take you in for questioning if they found drugs. They still gonna take you in. Oh, but they just happened to know who y'all was and was like, oh, somebody trying to sabotage y'all camp. So we just gonna have a cop patrolling to make sure y'all safe and nobody else not trying to do nothing bad to y'all. They picking on y'all. We gonna make sure they leave y'all alone. Man, come on. Somebody planted drugs in the car and they was getting ready to, they put you in handcuffs and they get ready to tow the car. And all the tow truck driver had to say was, this car hasn't been driven in hours. Oh, okay. All right, so we just gonna take the drugs in, put the truck down, take the cuffs off of him, and let them go. I'm Floyd Schofield, that's my son. And we fighters. We supposed to fight Shakur. We supposed to fight Shakur, and Shakur sent all these people to do this stuff to us. They sabotaged our camp. They took our signature pages off our passports. They did all this stuff to us. Nah, man, come on. It's gonna take a little more than that, like, you know what I mean, for y'all, to make somebody, and more than you putting your son with a ventilator or some type of tube in his mouth, and putting a caption on and talking about pray for us or whatever it was y'all doing, man. Like, listen, but I honestly feel like, and I don't know, at some point, maybe he will, maybe he won't. Maybe the son will wake up and be like, you know what, I got to get away from my dad, man. He killing my career. All the big fights y'all think y'all gonna get is gonna turn around. Like, what they got, the WBA, Continental, something, whatever, and they swear that belt is they green light to get any fight that they want. No, this fight guarantee us we can ask for a fight with the champion anytime we want. Man, please. Y'all gonna end up probably pulling a Gary Russell Jr. type joint. Just, fighting, the runner-ups, the people that's underneath y'all every time. And then the next one up, fight the people underneath y'all. Then the next one up, fight the people up underneath y'all. Especially if you keep operating like this, it's gonna be hard for, anybody to want to do business with y'all. Y'all gonna be with Golden Boy, but ain't no other promoter gonna want to do anything with y'all. Y'all think Turkey Al Sheik is gonna take y'all? What would imagine what would the son do if Turkey Al Sheik said, look, I'll take you, but your father gotta go. I'll give you a multi-million-dollar fight deal. I'll give you a two, or I'll give you a 3-fight deal, for a couple million, but your father gotta go. You think the son will take it? You better not take that contract, son. I'm your mother. I meant your father. Yeah, I'm your father. You better not take that contract. I'm not getting none of that money. You not getting none of that money. We don't need Turkey. I don't know. But I guess, we'll see. But drop the comments in the comment section below, man. Let me know, man. Is Floyd Schofield, the father, is he hindering or possibly slowly destroying his son's career? And what do y'all think the son should do? Should he get away from his father before it's too late? Or do y'all already think it's too late?